when I was at school, I was way more into sport. I was into cricket, and I played a lot of rugby until everyone got really big, and then the Polynesians started immigrating, and that was the end of my rugby career. and that was the 80s. You know, we didn't have so many Polynesians back then, so it was okay. But then once the Polynesian kids started migrating to Australia, that was it. But who knows that they kicked Greco-Roman wrestling out of the Olympics. They kicked Greco-Roman wrestling out of the Olympics because it was not that popular. No one was watching it. Did you guys know that? It's fucking outrageous. Just make them wear masks. Yeah. Anyway, another story. Racist homeless man story. Okay, look. I was crossing the road the other day. This is a true story. These are all fucking true stories. I was crossing the road the other day, and this Indian cab driver, he came screaming around the corner, and I could see the green light. So I'm walking, and I'm thinking, this guy's not going to hit me. And he actually nearly hit me, and he missed me by about an inch. And so I did what anyone would do. I kicked his fender, and I kicked it hard enough so that I could feel it like wobble kind of off the hinges, and I thought, fuck, I fucked his car up. And he parked his car, and he went up down his window and started screaming obscenities at this fucking Indian cab driver, started yelling at me. So I was thinking, you want to fucking have a go, you fucking cunt? So I'm screaming at this Indian guy, he's screaming at me, calling me a cunt, and I'm calling him a cunt, but he nearly hit me, so I thought I was in the right, but he's thinking that he's in the right because I kicked his fucking fender. And in the end, he just went, look, this is wasting my time, I need to make money, so he just drove off. And I thought I'd show him. And I continued crossing the road, and there was a homeless man waiting for me to cross the road. And when I finished crossing the road, he said, you want to do that, mate? You can go back to your own country. A homeless man telling me off, and I thought, are you talking to me or the Indian guy? He said, you fucking cunt. You want to fucking do that kind of shit, go back to your own country. I've got a wife, I've got a kid, I've got a job. You'll walk into a fucking cardboard fucking shelter, and I've got a laptop. You don't have a laptop. And you can click on the Google Earth icon and see that Australia is sandwiched between Antarctica and Asia. So, fuck, mate. You gotta expect fucking Asians and Texans, you know? Fuck you. A homeless guy slagging me off. Fuck, but it's fucking thankless, man. I'm telling you, who plays in the band?
Yeah.
What's your band called?
King Leopold.
Right, never heard of them. Who else? Who plays in the band? Come on, you all fucking... Murray. Security. Anyway, look, I like touring, but I can't stand going to a gig and having to take a shit because I went to take a piss in that toilet there. There was a few urine spots around the bowl where obviously it wasn't very accurate, you know, from the man's point of view. That's not too bad, but when you go to Germany, so for example, if you go on tour to Germany, for a bunch of fucking anal cunts that fucking did a lot of shit in World War II, they're fucking disgusting. The German toilets, it's covered in shit, right, and piss, and you don't want to take a shit there. So, there's been times when I've had to, if there's a pipe there, you got to grab onto the pipe, and you got to kind of like, I can't do that anymore, I'm 48. I tried to do that last tour, fuck, I hurt myself. But one tour actually, you know, like when we go on tour, what I do is I take the cheapest shit, so I'll take a pair of Dunlop Volleys on tour, because I know they're $20, and at the end of the tour you can just chuck them out. So, first gig, I'm like, I've got to take a shit. So I go to the toilet, and it's in Germany, and it's just covered in shit, literally. So there's nothing you can do. So how are you going to take a shit there? It's disgusting. So you have to squat, and I had diarrhea that day, so basically I spray painted the back of my heels. That was the end of that. But, you know, like you're talking about shit, Who likes Dave Navarro from fucking, what's that band, Jane's Addiction? The Hard-ons went on tour in 2003 with Jane's Addiction around Australia for the big day out. And I got about 50 phone calls from my female friends. You're on tour with Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction? I go, yes. He's the sexiest man in the world. I go, yeah. He's like Johnny Depp. I go, yeah, he's really sexy. He's really cool. Can I meet him? I go, well, I'm not in Jane's Addiction. I'm in the fucking Hard-ons. Well, can you introduce me to him? I go, no. I'm just in the fucking Hard-ons. We're on tour. We're right, like, on the food chain. We're right down the bottom. They're up here, you know? Fuck. Anyway, everyone's going on about this guy, Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction, how sexy he is and all that shit. Anyway, I went backstage because Red Hot Chili Peppers were in there. I know they got good food in there, right? I said, I'm going to go in there and take a few grapes and shit. And I saw Dave Navarro come out of the toilet next to the dressing room where the Red Hot Chili Peppers were. And I had to take a shit myself, so I went in there. And he'd left the biggest skid mark. So actually, I mean, he wasn't just 2 inches wide. It was like a tire track. So Dave Navarro left like the biggest fucking skid mark in the world that I've ever seen. So yeah, he's sexy, but fuck, man, it's the same. You know, everyone's the fucking same. Everyone's shit smells the same. And like, let's face it, rock and roll, it's a great leveler. But, I mean, I've got to tell you, I do work in a record shop and it's a lot of fun, but I didn't always work at a heavy metal record shop. I worked at some mainstream record shops and it's pretty fucking painful selling like really crap CDs to fucking morons in the suburbs. I hated it. Back in the early 2000, 2001 period, the big fad back then was, actually it was in the late 90s. The big fad was like flamenco music. Remember flamenco music with these fuckwits with ponytails playing like 6-string guitar, like nylon strings and shit. And I was working at this mainstream shop called HMV, and across the road from there was a state theatre, and Paco Peña was playing, and everyone was going crazy. Otmar Liebert had played a month earlier, and you know, this big fad of flamenco music was. This is a true story. This woman comes in the shop and she goes, "Do you have a flamenco section?" This fucking redneck bourbon fuckwit woman from Blacktown goes, "You got any flamenco music?" I go, "What flamenco music?" "No, fucking flamenco music." I go, "Alright, Paco Peña's playing across the fucking road. Where's the flamenco music?" Okay, Paco Peña's playing across the road. Flamenco music. Alright, so I took it, come over with me. So we went over to the other side, because I was working in the specialist sections. And we went over to the A to Z, and I said, "See, Jay." I pointed at Jay and I pulled out the best of Jeff Rotal. And she goes, "How's this fucking flamenco music?" I go, "Well, he's fucking standing there like this, playing the flute." "You're a fucking smart ass, aren't you?" I go, "Yeah, but I'm not a fucking bogan bitch like you." Who likes bogans?